This presentation is titled Artificial Intelligence Thesis Check, and it's one of a series of presentations about the use of artificial intelligence in education, learning. The presentation simply demonstrates the use of both DeepSeek and ChatGPT to check the literature review and reference list of a PhD thesis in terms of content and format. I use DeepSeek to tell me what are the conditions required for a good literature review, as seen from the prompt here at the beginning of this slide. It then lists the 10 key conditions and steps necessary to produce a high-quality literature review. First is clear purpose and scope, and it says I have to define the research question, I have to establish the scope in terms of time frame, key themes, disciplines, types of sources, and decide whether the review is descriptive, analytical, or critical. The second condition is comprehensive literature review in terms of the use of academic databases like Google Star, PubMed, JSTOR, Scopus, etc. And it has to include books, journal articles, conference papers, and credible reports. A good advice is to use relevant keywords and Boolean operators like and, or, not for effective searching, and to check the reference lists of key papers for additional sources. This is what is called snowballing. The third condition is critical evaluation of sources in terms of assessing the credibility, identifying gaps, contradictions, and trends, and compare and contrast different theories, methodologies, and findings. The fourth condition is thematic organization by grouping the studies into themes, concepts, or chronology, rather than just summarizing one by one, using subheadings to structure the review logically and highlight seminal works which are key fundamental studies and recent development. Number 5, synthesis and analysis, not just summary. We have to integrate findings, discuss conflicting evidence, and link literature to research question or problem. Number 6, proper citation and referencing by using a consistent citation style like APA, MLA, Chicago, Harvard, etc. For each specialization there is a citation style attached to it, and then to avoid plagiarisms by properly paraphrasing or quoting sources, and we include the in-text citations and a reference list or bibliography. Number 7, clear and academic writing styles, where we have to maintain an objective, formal tone, and we use transitions to connect ideas and to avoid biased language. Number 8, identification of research gaps, highlight areas where further research is needed, and explain your work, how your work contributes to the field. Unfortunately, most of these conditions are not followed in the thesis I review because of different reasons. Maybe this presentation would be help for people who like to write a good literature review section. Number 9, revision and proofreading. We have to check the clarity, coherence, and logical flow, and eliminate redundancies and irrelevant information, and ensure grammar, spelling, and formatting are correct. And the last point is use of virtual aids if applicable, like tables, charts, concept maps, because these help summarize complex relationships. The last part that was given to me by the AI assistant here is common mistakes to avoid. Summarizing without analysis, ignoring opposing viewpoints, relying on outdated or non-academic sources, and lack of clear structure or focus. By meeting these conditions, the literature review will be well researched, insightful, and valuable to academic and professional work. And what is beautiful about AI is that it asks me if I like to refine my prompt or ask for additional help. It says, would you like help with structuring a specific section? Then DeepSeek gave me the previous information, but I used ChatGPT to check the literature review of the thesis I am reviewing. It starts by strengths, which is a good way of talking to people, and says that the strengths is coverage of multiple disciplines, chronological and source-based, and relevance. However, there are some areas of improvement. First, lack of synthesis. The review is largely descriptive, listing one study after other without showing how they connect, agree, contradict, or build on one another. And it doesn't only give me the area of improvement, it also offers a suggestion. Group studies thematically on, for example, groundwater studies, stratigraphy, structural geology, and then compare or contrast finding to identify trends or gaps in knowledge. Here, it goes into the details of the literature review because this particular thesis has to do with groundwater studies. The second area of improvement is limited critical analysis. There is little evaluation of methods, data quality, or implications, and also the suggestion is to briefly comment on each study's strengths, limitations, and contribution to your research context. The third point is stylistic and grammatical issues. And here it says that the section in the thesis has some informal or grammatically inconsistent, and it gives examples. He investigates that and should be, he found that. What is the suggestion? This is one example. There are other two examples. The suggestion is to use past tense consistently for completed research and aim for academic tone. Number 4, inconsistent detail. Some entries provide more detail than others. And the suggestion is to maintain a balanced level of detail for each study unless certain works are more central to your thesis. Number 5, referencing format. It says ensure suggestion in author names and punctuation, and it gives an example. And the suggestion is to use a consistent citation style, and they are giving 3 examples here throughout the literature review. The overall assessment, the literature review provides a good foundation but would benefit significantly from thematic structuring, analytical depth, polished language, and consistent formatting. And once these are addressed, the review will be much better, will do a much better job of situating your study within the existing body of research and highlighting its originality. Again, it asks me if I like to get help rephrasing this into a more polished and synthesized version. Here again, as in the previous example, I use DeepSeek to give me a similar definition of a good reference list. Here, this is my prompt. What are the conditions required to compile a good reference list? It says a good compiled reference list or bibliography is crucial to academic integrity, credibility, and allowing readers to locate your sources. Here are the 9 key conditions required to create a good reference list. Number 1, accuracy and completeness. Ensure all cited sources in the text appear in the reference list. Include full details and double check spelling, punctuation, and formatting. Number 2, follow a specific style guide. As we mentioned before, he is adding now, in addition to the previously mentioned citation styles IEEE, and applying the style uniformly in terms of capitalization, italics, and abbreviations. Correct ordering. Alphabetical order is most common, but some styles like IEEE or Vancouver style use numerical order based on citation order in the text. Number 4, proper formatting for different source types. It gives here 4 different source types: books, journal articles, websites, and it shows the corresponding example for the APA citation style. Conference paper, report, thesis should follow style specific rules, and we can go to literature and look at APA detailed citation format. DOI, which is digital object identifiers, and URLs, unified resource location, when applicable. We prefer DOIs, and for website we use permanent links. Avoid broken or dynamic URLs. Number 6, no uncited sources. The reference list should only include sources cited in the text, unless it's a bibliography for further reading, and they are 2 different things as commonly known. Number 7, proper handling of missing information. If no author, use title first, e.g. anonymous or NA, only if specified by the style. If no date, use ND for no date. Number 8, use of reference management tools like Zotero, EndNote, Mendeley, or Cite This for me help automating formatting. I can add to this that we can use the reference tab in Microsoft Word. It's more work, but it is one of the methods where we can write good inline and reference lists using different citation styles. Number 9, cross-check every entry against the original source and ensure no duplicates or incorrect entries. And as before, it highlights 4 common mistakes: inconsistent formatting, mixing APA with MLA as an example, missing essential details, volume number or journals, incorrect author names, initials versus full names, and using outdated or broken links. Example of a well-formatted reference list using APA style, and here it shows us 3 examples for persons and corporate authors. And it says, by following these conditions, your reference list will be accurate, professional, and reliable. And again, it offers some help by asking me if I like help with a specific citation style. Here, I go back, as in the previous example, to ChatGPT to check the reference list, or the PhD thesis that I am reviewing. It says, identifying the citation style. The style appears to be loosely based on a hybrid between APA and the geology-specific format, but it's not fully consistent with any major style. Several references have elements of APA, e.g. author date format, but many don't follow APA's rules or punctuation, capitalization, or formatting. The common style issues identified are inconsistent formatting of journal titles, and it says that APA requires italicized journal titles and volume numbers, and it says to the authors that you use GEOL 45, missing italics and proper punctuation. Again, in the reviewing, they go into very specific commands on the articulation of the reference list, improper punctuation and spacing, and giving an example, and says that repeated use of colons after the year is non-standard. Number 3, book and thesis formatting. It says book titles and thesis should be italicized in the APA citation format with sentence case capitalization, and then capitalization, and it uses sentence case for article and book titles, and it gives an advice. You have inconsistent title case or all caps, and giving an example from the list. Repeat entries, it found that it is an entry repeated, and missing DOI or URL for journal articles, and it gives also sample corrections by showing the difference between the original, what's written, and the APA 7 format. Again, another example showing the correction. And the suggestions, they say choose a consistent style, preferably APA 7th edition or Chicago author date for geological and scientific work. Apply formatting rules consistently in terms of italics for titles, sentence case for article titles, and volume numbers in italics, and remove duplicates, and use a reference manager like Zotero, EndNote, Mendeley to reformat efficiently. My concluding remarks slide says that this presentation uses both DeepSeek and ChatGPT to define and check literature review and reference lists of a PhD assigned to me as a reviewer. And both IA tools helps me find valuable comments on the write-up and clear explanations and even examples for improvement.